Broadcasting live from the Trichomes.com studios in Southern California. It's time for your Morning Buzz. We bring you late-breaking news that keeps you up to date with what's happening in the cannabis industry.
Hey, good morning. Getting some more technical difficulties here out of the way. We are looking at, it's Thursday, June 16th, and here are your cannabis headlines. Top federal drug agency wants to create a national medical marijuana registry to track how patients use cannabis. Attorney General says Justice Department will address marijuana issues in the days ahead. And pro-legalization GOP congresswoman prevails in primary victory after being attacked over marijuana reform stance. I'm gonna have to say thanks for joining. Sorry that we're late this morning. I was planning on doing something with the breeders and seeds. Just want to do a microphone check really quick. I came in real quick with the AirPods. How am I sounding right now? Hey Laura, missed you too. Everything sounding good? All right, well, we're going to break right into this and go directly into the first story, which is the top federal drug agency having, let's see, federal drug agency wants to create a national medical marijuana registry to track how patients use cannabis. And this one, this is pretty slippery slope, when it comes down to medical patients and HIPAA laws and that kind of stuff. There's a fine line there, and we want to make sure that it's not crossed in our defense, right? So a top federal drug agency has announced that it plans to provide 1.5 million in funding to support researchers who can develop a medical marijuana registry to track everything from how patients are obtaining and consuming cannabis to their health outcomes. The National Institute on Drug Abuse, NIDA, posted the request for application, an RFA, on Tuesday. The ultimate goal of the funding opportunity is to inform research, policy, and clinical recommendation practices on medical cannabis, associated conditions, and outcomes, it said. In the notice, NIDA recognized that the vast majority of states have now legalized marijuana for medical use, though the conditions that qualify patients and the types of cannabis products that can be utilized vary from state to state, creating a discordant policy landscape that is difficult to analyze without some level of standardization. While many states do maintain individual registries with certain medical cannabis patient information, those small pockets of collected information may not be comparable, standardized, or useful in understanding broader cannabis use related to health outcomes. Another challenge is that cannabis products themselves are subject to varied and not well enforced labeling policies. Therefore, there's a need to gather information on the products used for medicinal purposes. States that have legal adult use cannabis, in addition to the medical cannabis laws, have encouraged safer consumption through access to regulated markets. They go on to be quoted, in order to understand the benefits, harms, and broad outcomes of medicinal cannabis products used in the United States, it's critical to gather the information on what, how, e.g., the route of administration, dose, and frequency, and why patients are using medical cannabis products and how they are responding to those products. Let's see here. It goes on to further say that the RFA details the objectives of the undertaking, which is to gather information regarding medicinal cannabis products used, reasons for use, and outcomes of the use. This includes, but is not limited to, the following: route of administration, delivery method, cannabis form, strain type, genetic profile, major cannabinoids present in cannabis products used for medicinal purposes, including those with low to no THC, as well as cannabidiol CBD only products. The medical card status of the patients. If they have a medical card, are they seeking treatment for the condition symptoms for which their card was issued? The symptoms patients are addressing, and if they're self-reported, or are they being diagnosed by a physician, or both? Physician recommended products versus products purchased and used. Are patients using the products that were recommended, or did they purchase and use different products? What is the impact of that decision, and how is this reported back to the physician? Changes in targeted symptoms and the methods of symptom outcome measurement from both the patients and physicians. Are these changes self-reported or are they assessed by the physician, or both? And finally, changes in the use of other medications, e.g., prescription opioids, as well as other substances, both illicit, licit and illicit, nicotine, alcohol, or illicit stimulants, non-prescriptive opioid use, etc., drug interactions, cannabis use disorder, and any other outcomes, side effects, hypernesis that may use of, following the use of medical cannabis, and how these outcomes were measured. Detailed information on the patterns of use, real-time conditions found around use, and the biochemical validation of each use. Wow, that was a mouthful. And really, we're going to get in the chat about it, but it's going to be interesting to see how they do this on a, let's call it, anonymous data collection, because essentially HIPAA laws are going to be protecting our rights to privacy surrounding that. Let's see here. The next story up is the Attorney General says Justice Department will address marijuana issues in the days ahead. And this one, is interesting. So the U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland says that the Justice Department is examining marijuana policy and will be addressing the issue in the days ahead. What an ominous comment. The comments come in response to one of the several questions that Senator Brian Schatz of Hawaii submitted to the nation's top prosecutor as the follow-up to a congressional hearing that was held in April. The senator wanted to know whether the DOJ intended to reissue Obama-era guidance to federal prosecutors on cannabis enforcement policies, which generally urge discretion in marijuana cases in states and territories where the plant is legal. That was rescinded under the Trump administration. Garland didn't exactly answer the question directly. Rather, he more vaguely revealed that the department is examining a range of issues that are related to marijuana and its production, sale, and use, and we intend to address these issues in the days ahead. That sounds kind of funny, right? He also reiterated that he feels that the federal enforcement resources are not put to their best use prosecuting nonviolent, low-level marijuana offenses, even in jurisdictions where marijuana still remains illegal. He goes on to be quoted, with respect to those jurisdictions where marijuana use and sales are lawfully regulated, there is even greater reason to conserve prosecutorial resources so that we can focus on our attention on violent crimes and other crimes that cause societal harm and endanger our communities, he said in response to Schatz, which was noted earlier by Politico. Again, we all know this. President Joe Biden campaigned on the cannabis platform of decriminalization and rescheduling, respecting states' rights and other modest reforms, though he remains opposed to adult use legalization and has yet to take meaningful action on his prior pledges. So, when it boils down to it, they're going to say something in the days ahead, and really haven't given too much of a heads up as to what they're going to talk about, because as of right now, they could just be reiterating the fact that it's federally illicit and they're not going to prosecute. Obama era style laws means that they're going to leave the states that have voted it in alone, not do anything to deschedule or decriminalize on a national level. So that's one we should talk about here in a second. But someone in the chat brought it up yesterday that Mace made it back into Congress, and this is the story about that. So we've got the pro-legalization GOP candidate. Let me pull that up here real quick. Pro-legalization GOP congresswoman prevails in a primary victory after being attacked over marijuana reform stance. The GOP House sponsor of a federal marijuana legalization bill prevailed against a primary re-election challenge on Tuesday, beating out an opponent who attacked her cannabis reform position and positioning herself to lead the charge on a comprehensive bipartisan policy if Republicans end up taking the House majority in November midterms. Representative Nancy Mace from South Carolina, who's championing the States Reform Act, or SRA, to end prohibition, handily defeated her opponent, Katie Arrington, who released an attack ad accusing the congresswoman of being high over her focus on marijuana reform, and at one point challenged her to take a drug test. The incumbent also succeeded despite attempts by a recently formed anti-legalization political action committee to push her out of Congress and former President Donald Trump's endorsement of her opponent. Trump on Wednesday nonetheless congratulated Mace on the victory when the race was called. Let's see. Um, Cannabis advocates, they say, are widely pleased with this outcome, which keeps intact a key player in the push for bipartisan reform on the GOP side of the aisle, as the prospects of Congress enacting Democratic-led legalization bills remains in question. So it's being viewed as an overall positive on this Nancy Mace thing, and we're gonna see what that means. And so here I am. We're popping into the comments. As I'm going over that, I'm gonna jump into the Trichomes app, check in with who's been watching there. Um, again, apologize for being late. We're going to be starting this thing at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time from now on. Today, I have apparently too many tabs open. I was trying to share the seeds, breeders, and seed bank list with you guys as the third topic today. But we're going to have to do that tomorrow. Essentially, I had to reset some settings in my computer, and that made my computer freeze up. I have too many tabs open, and it's thinking too hard. I said, we're not going to do that today. So I apologize again for being late, but that was the problem. So Danny Tomlin, like you said, all right, all right, all right. Good to see you this morning. Laura Camp, good to see you back. Danny, let's see, Dobie Gale Rita, good to see you. Nicholas Wilburn, good morning. DRS Metal, good to see you. All right, who else is in there? Got a lot of comments. I'm going to try to catch up here real quick. Joey 420, good to see you. And let's see, Laura Camp. They said they don't know what to do with it because they know they can't own the plant. It's one of those things as to where, again, if you've been on the side of being a cannabis user or an advocate or someone looking for policy change, you know that over the last 10, 20 years and prior to that, it's specifically that. Really, the government itself couldn't find a way to back off of its stance on it and to find itself in a way to make more money on this thing. And really, when you're talking about special interests, when you're talking about the people who run this country, the big money, the big pharmas, that type of stuff, you're running into the special interest as to where this type of money fuels the government. It fuels these policies and politics, and ultimately we couldn't replace that money, and they couldn't replace that money with cannabis right off the bat. They couldn't see their way to doing that. So, it's one of those things that we definitely are at a spot where we have to change the minds of our local politicians here, and make it about, take it back to the medical benefits for those involved. Really, what got us across the starting line in all of these states was essentially, the medical benefit for people who choose cannabis over basically other side effects. Right? There's side effects, there's carcinogens, there's all that kind of stuff that happens with cannabis, but in when you're taking into account the side effects from different pharmaceuticals or different recreational drugs or different things to to mask or placate or to feel better, you're definitely looking at a shorter list with cannabis. And really, we have to bring them back to the fact that this is a choice. This is our body, and really, we're finding real medical cause or cause and effect with the use of cannabis, whether it be epilepsy, new studies into autism, new studies into the gut-brain relationship, and of course the discovery of the endocannabinoid system, right, in 1996 by Dr. Michelin. We're getting to a point of irrefutable science, and it's time for people to jump on board with that. And by people, I mean the political regime of which we've put into place. You're getting a lot more people, just like the guy for pot for potholes yesterday, who are embracing it and seeing it as a lesser evil than anything else, and saying, hey, you know what? With all this other crap going on, look at the simple fixes. This is what we have to swing around to. So within that, um, we've got a couple announcements coming up here, and really, the closer we get to November, the closer we're, or the more we're going to know about the political posturing versus the political actions that have been happening. Come November, we're going to see how many other states embrace medical marijuana laws and or recreational laws, and or who the people we need to move out of office are. So let's see here. Um, let's see. What do we got going on in the comments? We're talking about transplanting. I see somebody. We're talking about had a terrible day. Joey 420 had a terrible day today. I woke up after a tremendous storm and my garden is trashed. That's that's horrible. I see a couple different things, where people are trying to help out on that. I don't know um, if there's any way you can salvage it, Joey, but man, that's devastating. I'm sorry you're going through that there. Let's see. Laura Camp, cancer patients and vets, number one. I'm trying to catch up here. We've already. Let's see. Oh wow, we got the spammers back. Block user on YouTube. They're out of here. Unless anybody wants nakedhd.xyz, they're right there if you need them. These guys. Oh yeah, sexy time. Rob L. Yeah, the spam bots are wow. It's kind of funny. If anything, I hope it's like what I asked for here is liking and commenting. Helps us with the algorithm. We had another. Yesterday's was taken down for adult content again, and when it comes down to it, we have to appeal every one of our episodes, and we win every appeal. It's just that messes with the algorithm, and I don't know, maybe these bots can help us have more people find us. But hey, would you go ahead and make sure to hit that like button and share and subscribe, if you already aren't subscribed. Thank you very much for joining the chat, as always, in the morning here. Let me take that down. We've got the last few days coming up where we're going to be transitioning from this invite link only type beta, where it's been a private beta, and really just inviting people who were either part of our distribution and our programming, and either seen it on YouTube or TikTok and that kind of thing. Worked with a couple of this is redo this here. Now everything looks like it's hooked up, but my Bluetooth is disconnected. Sorry about this. Let's go. Rob L. My computer is definitely having problems. I'm going to have to do a reboot before tomorrow's show so I can share this list with you as well. I got this list that we're going to go over, and it's a vetted list by somebody here at the Trichomes area, Trichomes company. We've got the list of these things. I just wanted to have them up there for you. And we're going to go over those because there's been a lot of those seeds we either grown ourselves, or excuse me, Anthony, one of the people that works, he's either grown or done giveaways and seen some other stuff. come from people he's given the seeds away to, and or we've worked with these seed banks. So we're going to go ahead and yeah, go over those and see what you guys have heard of as well, which breeders, which genetics, that kind of thing, and kind of talk about it in the chat tomorrow. So please make sure 8 a.m. tomorrow. I will be on time because I'm going to fix my computer just after this episode. But I will be on time for 8 o'clock, and we will be having the much anticipated talk about seeds, breeders, and seed banks. Let's see. All right, here we grow wicked. What up? Good to see you. Tim Carlson, good morning. Patrick Lewis, good morning. Orshak, need term limits in Congress. Absolutely. Here we grow wicked. Shit, you've been busy. Haven't seen me in a few. I wasn't here, so you didn't miss out on much. It's yesterday we came back, and it's great to see everybody in the comments. Everybody who's been a supporter of the channel and joined since we kind of changed with the programming and gone to this live format. Really glad to see everybody here. So thanks for no volume, no volume, no volume. Okay, we're back. Thank you guys for everybody going through that. I don't know what's going on with my computer right now. So within that, I was having a technical difficulty. I'm catching up to the messages. And yeah, so thank you for that. I am going to make, let's see, Danny Tomlin, I need some seeds. I took 2 males out of the mints and transplanted them into pots to collect pollen. LOL, I didn't want seeds in my smoke in the mountains. Right on. Hey, thank you everybody for reporting the spam bots. I blocked them on YouTube already. We should be getting that through, but I do think my computer's having enough problems here that I should probably shut down here in the next couple of minutes. But yeah, I'm excited about talking about seeds and genetics and breeders tomorrow because everybody's been talking so much about them. On the app, we've had quite an influx of some new growers. And when I say new growers, I mean people who are new to growing and doing their first closet setup, doing their first home grow. And we're getting a lot of good interaction with people who are a little bit, maybe more versed in growing and have been going around for a while. And really it's a nice place in the community to talk about this stuff. So what we're going to do is go ahead and start the conversation tomorrow, and then we'll take it from there, because essentially, this is something as to where if you're growing yourself and you're doing this on your own, it's the only thing more important than the environment is the genetics. So let's see, I just got Joey 420 say no sound again. How about this? Can you guys hear me still? Okay, perfect. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get out of the technical difficulty stage. If you guys can still hear me, again, I'm sorry for the technical difficulties this morning. Thank you very much. Oh, it's good back. All right, right on. So here's the deal. We're going to sign off now. I'm going to go ahead and close out my browser, get all these other windows, taken down so it's not causing extra static in here. And you know what? We're going to go ahead and be on for 8 o'clock tomorrow. Make sure you tune in for the seeds, breeders, and seed bank conversation. Really look forward to that and hearing some input from the chat and from the comments on if you use these genetics before, if you've worked with these breeders before, and if you have any history with the seed banks, because these are some vetted people and banks that we're looking at, and really looking forward to some feedback and starting a conversation there. Again, everybody have a great day. Stay safe. Be well. We'll talk tomorrow morning. Have a great day.